La 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 la. Da 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 da. With his song. Lolita, come on. Get up here. Oh my goodness. Hey, I just started. Can I get some taps, please? I just started. I'd love some taps. Hey, Tanuki. Do you know what's funny is I swear I thought of you a moment before I saw your name. I swear. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing great. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. I got put in timeout on my other account today, and I tell you, I was having a calm conversation. Nobody was swearing. Hey, I just started. Can I get some taps? Is it Michaela? That's a pretty name. Thanks for joining. I'm Gay Santa. I'm a 48-year-old. I'm a liberal elder queer. I'm in beautiful Washington State. I'm here to have some conversations. I have really interesting conversations. Here's the background. How dare you ban gender affirming care for kids? How come this healthcare that's accessed by so very, very few kids? Guys, I went to the eye doctor today. I get an injection. How come this healthcare that's accessed by so very few kids was turned into, hey, my friend is in the guest request. I'm going to let her up real quick. Guys, give me some taps. This healthcare is misunderstood healthcare that's accessed by a fraction of a percent of kids. We're talking one in thousands has a gender dysphoria diagnosis, a serious mental disorder, and you're taking away their healthcare, and you're saying that it's for the good of the kids. Hey, Brittany, how are you?
Hello. I love talking about like who's receiving gender affirming care. I think this is a great conversation.
Well, I
Who
appreciate it.
who's who is receiving gender affirming care more frequently? Children or trans children?
Oh, it's cis children, and the gynecomastia. I was literally talking to someone who had gynecomastia and had to have it removed, and he was still, arguing
Well,
so much about
even
this
even
healthcare.
even if we were to exclude gynecomastia from gender affirming surgeries.
Um, no, of course. Um, I'm going to bring up. I hope I'm looking for opposition, actually, Brittany, because I very
No, I know.
yeah.
If you want to drop me, you're good. I was just coming into the comments because I love to support you.
What
You're
can I
amazing.
mod you and like could you if you want to hang out and like help with the keeping the
Yeah.
comments clean because people say terrible things in the comments. And let me greet the guest. Hey, thanks for joining. I'm Santa. Can I get your age, please? I'm 48.
I am 21 and I'm she, her.
Okay. Well, I chances are since we're having a one-on-one conversation, I won't be referring to you in the third person. But I would actually like to know what I should call you. Is your name Lullaby?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really pretty. So anyway, there's somebody in the guest request. Hang out there. I'm just doing 1v1 conversations. Lullaby. Tell me, do you know about this healthcare? Do you think that this is an important political issue?
Um, yeah. Yeah. I feel like it is very important. Like, ooh, I don't know, when you're younger, like I feel like those aren't the most important years to like make sure your child like stays consistently healthy, and be careful what you surround them with, or like what type of medications you put them on, because children, they're they can be very like influenced by the littlest things. Like I
Well,
know, I
Lola,
know.
I want to tell you that I agree with you that I wouldn't tell parents what kind of health care to get for their kids, but this is very much considered health care, and the parents that are accessing this health care is just for the same reasons you would. They want the best outcome for their kids. So I would not tell you that how to raise your kid, or that you have to affirm them when they come to you. You get to raise them with your values, but this healthcare that's accessed by so very few young people, and the permanent changes that people worry about would be when the child is 15 or 16. And the point of this healthcare, the reason it happens when they're minors, is you want the child to have a puberty that aligns with their identity. So if you have a trans daughter who was assigned male, she's going to be living her life as a woman. It would save her a lot of mental anguish. That's why it's psychiatric care to have a female puberty. And then it would afford her a lot of opportunity in the future, and save her a lot of medical expense, because there's a lot of things that you can reverse from a male puberty, and there's a lot of things you can't reverse, right? So,
Well, I have, yeah, I have yet to see a case like that. And per se, like, I know you went into like healthcare, and like there are some things that can happen when you're younger, in the healthcare situation, but that doesn't mean they should happen. Because
I, I'm,
like,
I'm confused. I want to follow along. What are you saying?
well, you mentioned something about healthcare, and I know all about healthcare. I've been on all sorts of healthcare when I was younger, and like it's
Um,
just a very it's just very important what you, I don't know how to word it. I'm still building an opinion on it.
well,
So,
no, I want to give you a lot of credit because you're not crashing out. I have young men come in here, and they yell and scream, and then they end up dropping slurs. And I know very much that they're not concerned. Like these are sick kids. These are kids that have a serious mental disorder diagnosis. They've been in front of psychiatrists for over a year minimum to get the diagnosis. Um, and this is from the Mayo Clinic. Gender affirming care is medically necessary. It's safe health care backed by decades of research. It's supported by every major medical association in America. So that's 1.3 million US doctors are on board with this as medically necessary and safe health care. But the Republicans know better. The Republicans, I want you to know that they spent over $215 million on television ads specifically for this healthcare. How many school lunches do you think you could buy with $215 million? Um, I'm going to drop you in just a second because I want to move on to the next conversation. And I really appreciate. And if you want to hang out in the comments and chat with people or listen to more, I
Can
want to
I
show
do
you this. I want to show you this real quick. Yeah,
I
let me.
do
Let me.
want to. I
Brittany wants to
do.
say something. You say something first, so Lala.
I know how that it appears that everything's gonna be okay. Like it's like in your, whatever it was, the your source that back you up. It, yes, like at first it may seem okay, but like, I don't know. I've been on all sorts of medications to make sure I was okay, and it was recommended by a doctor. And like through the long run, it gave me PTSD, mental health issues. So that's what I'm worried about with, like if we're talking about kids, like, and you're trying to put them on like,
I want to
affirming,
agree with you. I want to agree with you, and
affirming.
so much that, and I want to disagree with you. I'm not telling people what to put their kids on, what they can't put their kids on. And so many
Mhm.
people from my generation, their parents threw Adderall and Ritalin at them, and and they didn't have to go to a psychiatrist for a year to get a diagnosis, right? That wasn't gate kept very well. I'm not saying that the parent, like, when it comes down to it, parents are trying to do their best to get the health care that their kids need. It's terrible if it doesn't work out for the people, even though statistically it's care that they continue using. But if that happens, they have to reconcile that with their parents and their doctors. And it's been turned into a political issue. This is just as an aside, and I'm going to bring up the next guest. This is from lawsuit.org. what they're doing is they're tracking all of the searches for adult content for trans people, and with more than 4.7 million searches on Google each month, Republicans represent those searching most. Republicans have always openly hated who they secretly lust after, and a lot of this vitriol for trans people. I'm letting you up, camera sniffer. A lot of this vitriol for trans people has to do with how people feel about them, and how they feel about themselves for feeling about them. Hey, I'm going to need your age, please. I'm 48.
I'm 18.
You're 18. Are
My
you?
name is Opal.
Oh, I didn't.
She, her.
I didn't hear your name.
Opal. I believe
Opal.
I have a interesting perspective on this.
Um,
As a, I guess, I don't know. Though I'm trying to find a way to phrase this. Former trans youth, but like, you know, I just got older, not like weird detransition. No, I'm still trans.
yeah, well, you know what?
Um,
You have a trans woman below you, a beautiful trans woman who was also
Yeah.
a trans youth. So
May I just try to figure out like so I can understand the path that you took? Because like I believe in like there's an acronym, right? It's a YMWV. Are you familiar with that?
oh no, not at all.
Yeah, like your mileage will vary, right? So like the things that you experienced as a trans individual, I may not have experienced yet.
Yeah. Okay. No, that
Okay.
makes sense.
So as a trans individual, based off of that scale, right? Like you're not you're not trans.
no,
No,
I'm
no.
so confused. You know what, Brittany? Let's. I want to
Let,
hear your perspective on this medical care, but I'm looking for opposition specifically, so I don't know if you're opposed to
uh,
it. Are you opposed to it?
oh no, no. I was
You know,
just gonna give my perspective,
well,
but
I'll tell you that. Oops, I invited somebody, and I meant to bring up the next guest. Well, the next guest dropped, and I appreciate your perspective. I'll tell you that the consensus is and I'm this is the consensus that I've heard. Most trans people had a terrible go with puberty, and that they very much wish that they had affirming parents, at least affirming parents, but access to this care. A lot of them wish that they had that. I'm not trying to speak for anyone specifically, but go ahead, camera. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you say your name's Olive?
Opal,
Opal.
like the rock.
I just, that's my brain. Oh, I just remembered. Oh,
No, I
Opal's really
understand.
pretty. I'll remember now. Like
Um,
Jewel. That's pretty.
I am of the, you know, generic consensus. You know, trans kids should have access to HRT. But also, I have the perspective that it's really hard to get on fucking HRT as a youth. These people don't understand that.
Oh no, well, yeah. It's not only is it very well gate kept, but then the children that are accessing this are privileged children, and so much that their parents are pretty successful if they have insurance or the means to get this health care. Because in America, if you're sick, that doesn't mean you're going to get health care. And of course, I know for a fact, my whole conversation is very much you get to raise your kids, and you don't get to try to legislate your values. I know for a fact most parents would never let their kid pick out their toys or their clothes or change their hairstyle, let alone change their pronouns. You know what I mean? Like that's pissing them off. They say they care about this healthcare. They're kind of it's transphobia is what I think is going on, and that's why I'm enjoying this conversation. But
I remember because had like dysphoria all of the fucking time. Excuse my French. Oh, well,
you
okay.
know
I
what?
thought I got removed for a second. Because I had dysphoria like all of the time, I got like sort of super mentally ill, like in a big way. And I remember like they'd be like, okay, so gender dysphoria is the cause of this. We're gonna put you on an antidepressant. Just thug it out. You'll be fine.
No, you know what? That's terrible, and I want to tell you that that's what people will say. Some people will say, "Don't take a kid to a psychiatrist or therapist." That's terrible. Um, hey, Brittany, I'm going to go to my other account, my oldest one here, and do a restart. But uh, I'm so old and elevated, and I have the gay DD really bad. I was just yapping somewhere. I'm actually going to say hi to Sam real quick. Sam, are you opposition? And can I get your age, please?
I actually just have some questions. I'm 29.
Okay.
Okay. What is actually considered gender affirming care for children?
Well, that's a great question. I got to answer it two ways. Like the broader answer would just be um, like letting your kid be the kid, like let them choose their clothes and their hairstyle and stuff. But the specific answer is this healthcare that's being targeted is puberty blockers, which pause the puberty, and then around 15 or 16, the child would access HRT so that they would have a puberty that aligns with their identity. Did you understand what I said there?
What is is it just like different hormones?
Yeah, so if you had a trans daughter, which means that they're assigned male and that they've been going to school as a little girl, they needed to see a psychiatrist and a therapist, and puberty is coming on. So what you do is you put them on puberty blockers, which were designed for kids that had early puberties. They've been around for a long time. So you pause the kids' puberty, and so they go to the psychiatrist some more, and then when they're 15 or 16, they would give the child testosterone suppressant and then estrogen, and the child would have what would be a female puberty. Now, the advantages to this would be the mental anguish that would spare the child would be spared. That's why it's psychological care, but also she would have the same biology that other girls did. When the bone structure, the pelvis that everyone wants to cry about, and it would afford her a lot of opportunity when she's older. She wouldn't have to pay for all of the medical care to try to reverse a male puberty, and she could navigate her life. And then if she needed to get any surgeries or wanted to get any surgeries, that's something that an adult would do.
Okay. So what if they at, I don't know, maybe 20 realize that they don't want to be on the medication anymore?
That they could stop the medication. Now they would have permanent. They would have permanent feminization, especially if they pause their puberty. Now to access this care is very, very difficult, and there are examples of some people that regretted this care. Statistically, very, very few. But it's terrible if you get the wrong health care. And I would say that if that's the case, like you can't throw out all the health care because there's some examples of it going wrong. But I want to be clear. I'm not telling people how to raise their kids, Sam. I would never do that. I wouldn't say you need to get this care to be a good parent, or you don't get to make up your mind, something like
Yeah.
that. I'm saying you get to raise your kids with your values. This has been turned into a political issue, and it's healthcare access by one in thousands of kids will get this diagnosis.
Yeah, I just wanted to know what it was because I feel like it's up to the parents to decide what's best for their children and what the child needs.
I'm giving you a big W. No, well, that's right. And people want to say that the parents want to harm their children and the doctors want to get rich and make them into these, lifelong patients or something. And no parent wants their kid to have a hard go. No parent wants their kid to have psychological clinical distress and have to see a psychiatrist and a care team. They're hoping for the best outcome. And I've actually met a few trans women that access this care as minors, and their dysphoria is basically gone, which is pretty
Now,
amazing. Go
with
ahead.
therapists, is there specialized therapists that are in the transgender field? Like
You know
they
what?
specialize with that?
That's a great question, and I want to say that I know there are therapists that do specialize in this kind of care, but I think a general psychiatrist would be able to. I want to tell you that in states like Texas, like if you have a kid that's having some sort of terrible identity and issues with their body and school and society, like they can't even go to a psychiatrist because a psychiatrist is afraid to talk about gender because they'll lose their license. It's being criminalized. Trump just said in his speech that he wants to criminalize this care for anyone that receives it and anyone that provides it, and that they're going to end the ideology that any child is born in the wrong body. And everyone's like, yay, yay. And the truth is, Republicans don't care about sick kids. They don't care about hungry kids. They're cutting food stamps and WIC, and that's children are accessing that care mostly.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that was just my questions. I wanted some clarify on. Thank you.
You're welcome. And I'll show you this real quick. This is from the latest long-term study. And this study is a part of a 20-year study. This is the 10-year mark. And this is specifically on teenagers that access the puberty blockers and the HRT. 4% experienced some sort of regret rate. 97% continued accessing the care. And that's from JAMA Pediatrics, the Journal on American Medical Associations. every medical association in America considers it safe, necessary healthcare. But it's been made. There was over 600 pieces of legislation proposed last year. I think there's that many already this year. And Trump, one of his first executive orders was you have to be 19 now to start this care. And the reason it's access for minors is because they're very sick with dysphoria, a mental disorder, and it's just it has to do with their puberty. And like I said, the parents that are making these decisions are talking to their kids. The parents both have to be on board, the doctors, and then the kid can back out. So that's called informed consent. Anyways, I'm going to end the live, but I appreciate your honest question, Sam. That was
Awesome.
refreshing.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye, everyone.